Now, people generally ask me, how do you come up with a book idea? And I think yesterday we started to talk about us constantly being in writer's mode, being almost like a receptacle, okay? Constantly looking, listening and hearing and seeing what is around us. Because the things that you can write about are practically things that are already going on in your working life in one way or the other, or your personal life, or people around you. So that when I categorize this, there are two primary ways of you developing a great winning book idea. The first one is an internal driven one. So when I talk about internal driven, I'm talking about your own personal stories, your own personal challenges, the things that you might be going through as an individual that you have come across, okay? So personal stuff. So it could be, like some of you yesterday we were talking about wanting to share your story around the autobiographies, your life journey. I think you were talking about writing about what happened in the Windrush time and so on and so forth. That's the kind of thing you're looking at as an internal thing. Now, in terms of the professional aspect, it could be perhaps you're at work. Now, I heard the words, about managing our lives, project management, work in the corporate environment and so on and so forth. So it could be that there's something within your work environment you were thinking, actually, if somebody writes a book or does something about this will make the life of the people I work with easier. So that's what I'm saying. There are two ways in terms of the internal, looking at your professional or your working life. And I think it was mentioned earlier about, putting something together for the people that, the students at your university, isn't it? So it's about looking at this, constantly looking around and thinking about what's going on around. The second one is what I'm calling the external focus, okay? So the external focus, there's three things that I've actually listed there. The first one being market research. Now, we started to talk about this yesterday, and market research as an author needs to be your best friend. It's market research to help you move, to understand what's going on in the market. And thank God for the likes of Google. Make Google your best friend, okay? Thank God for the likes of Google. Google will help you find whatever it is that you're looking for. So, for example, assuming I wanted to write a book about losing weight. Now, that's been done to bits, by the way, in the market. But there's always room for another book that will bring a good angle on dieting or losing weight fast and whatever. Okay, so market research. What's the current opinions out there on that subject? And so the moment you start to think, you're thinking, well, actually, this person's saying this person's saying that, but nobody's thought of this. And that's where, again, through market research. But don't start writing until you have done some form of research frequently, because your book needs to answer a problem. Your book needs to meet a need. Not necessarily a problem, it doesn't have to be a negative problem, but it needs to meet a need, because you're going to struggle bringing your book together with a market, because that's what basically it is. You're offering a product and you need to make sure that there's a market, and that's part of your market research I mentioned earlier on. And what are you going to write about? So I'm hoping that some of us might need to go away and think about the writing assignment that we thought was the thing that you wanted to write. It might happen, but it might be, actually, there's something else that, if I put my mind to it, in the next 30 days, writing 1,000 words, that's the book done. Assuming you're going to write a book on, what's the word? I generally tend to do my non-fiction, inspirational type books tend to be about 30,000 words. So if you commit to 1,000 words a day, you've done it in 30 days. Okay, there's a little tip. I will talk about this later, how to write your book very quickly. It doesn't have to take a lifetime to write a book. It's just that you need to create the space. And that's why we set the scene yesterday about you need to create space and time for your book, or else it won't happen. Mr. Audience and Miss Audience, these are the people you're going to be writing for in one way or the other. And what we're going to be doing very soon, we're going to do an exercise where I want you to focus on their need. This is not about you anymore. It's about their needs. What do they need? And constantly, and this is what I do, I said this yesterday, when I'm writing and I've done my proposal for each book, before I write a sentence, I go back and think, and I give them a name actually. So it might be Talisha, or it might be John, or whoever they are, but I think about what is Talisha or John going through at this moment that my writing can help at this point. So it's all about them, not about me. It's about my audiences, time and time again. And when you keep doing that before you start writing, it will keep you focused on them, and our egos don't get in the way. Or if you don't have a mailing list, So people are ready market to sell it to, you don't have a platform. If there's nobody following you online, you do not have a platform. If you are not, you might be LinkedIn, but you've got like one connection, it might be me or whatever, you have not got a following. So it's about thinking about your platform.